Jai Hind candidates, this is Brigadier Ahmad Narayan from Trishul Defence Academy, Ranchi. Now, a lot of candidates have been asking me to upload a video on PIQ, that is the Personal Information Questionnaire, which is required to be filled by each candidate in the SSB. Now, candidates, PIQ is very important, and this is filled by the candidates who successfully pass the screening test. So, those who get screened in, then on the afternoon of day 1, the PIQ form is filled. Now, today I will talk about what are the elements which are required to be filled in the PIQ, and will give you a tips on the importance of correct filling of PIQ. PIQ is basically a kind of a biodata of the candidates. So, you will see on the screen the various heads which PIQ has got, and I will talk about each of them. But few tips I must tell you before I go to the details. Firstly, that be correct and be honest and be truthful. Do not write anything which is false or which is incorrect. For example, in the sports, if you have actually played basketball and cricket, only mention that. If you have not played say volleyball, and if you mention that, then it is likely that you may get caught in the interview, and that will be going against you. The PIQ form is slightly different for service candidates. So, the first 2 pages of PIQ is same for all the candidates, whether it is a civilian candidate or a service candidate. But for the service candidate, there is a 3rd page added, which is about his service details. यानी जो पहली फर्स्ट पेज और सेकंड पेज है, ये सभी के लिए कॉमन है, चाहे वो सर्विस कैंडिडेट हो या जनरल कैंडिडेट। और जो सर्विस कैंडिडेट है उसके लिए एक 3rd पेज ऐड हो जाता है, जिसमें कि उसकी सर्विस प्रोफाइल, यानी उसने कौन सा यूनिट है उसका, कब ज्वाइन किया, उसने ट्रेनिंग कहाँ करी, उसकी जॉब प्रोफाइल अभी क्या है, कहाँ कहाँ उसकी पोस्टिंग हुई है, ये उसमें ऐड हो जाएगा। नाउ लेट्स टॉक अबाउट दी PIQ in detail. Now, PIQ, as I was mentioning, is very important, and this PIQ, after you have filled it, a copy is given to the interviewing officer. Interviewing officer के पास ये एक कॉपी जाता है, और आपको इंटरव्यू के पहले वो PIQ को बहुत डिटेल में देखते हैं, जिससे आपके बारे में एक आइडिया उनको मिल जाता है। आपके मार्क्स कैसे थे, आपकी हॉबीज इंटरेस्ट क्या है, आप क्या गेम्स स्पोर्ट्स खेलते हैं, आपने अपने लाइफ में कौन कौन सी इंपॉर्टेंट रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटीज निभाया है और कैसे निभाया है। So, importance of PIQ is really very high as far as the SSB is concerned. So, as I was saying, ensure that everything which is you have done in your life as per the correct paras there you must fill. But to re-emphasize, be honest, be correct, and be truthful. Okay. And the copy of PIQ is also given to the psychologist. So, he also has a look at it, and he compares your PIQ with your stories and your SD. And again, I need not emphasize that there should be no conflict between what you write in the PIQ and what you show to the psychologist in the tests of psychology. Okay, so on the screen you can see the PIQ. In the first portion you can see that details like the which board, your batch number, test number, UPSC roll number, and all that given, which you can fill. I don't have to tell you what to fill. Then your name, your father's name, your place of residence, including the population. Now population you can go prepared in advance, see the Google, and you will know that what is the average rough population of your town or your place of residence. And so there is a column for place of maximum residence, then place of present residence, and your permanent residence. It could be same for some candidate, it could be different for some candidate. Okay, in the next para, there is a requirement to fill your state, your district, your religion, whether you are a SC, ST or OBC or general category candidate, your mother tongue, your date of birth, and are you married, single or widow. So again, as per your details, you fill it correctly. Then in the next column at para 6, The question is about your parents, whether they are alive or no. So accordingly you fill it. And then comes your details of your family members. Again, the column has got the particulars of your father and mother, then your elder brother or sister. So ensure that you tick the correct column, and within that you can see on the screen that their education, their occupation and their income per month is required to be filled. So ensure that you fill them correctly. Now comes your educational record. Again, I am very sure you are aware of your educational record, so fill it correctly. So you have your matric or higher secondary, that is your class 10th, then your 10 plus 2 equivalent, then your graduation, and depending on the entry there is also a column for post graduation. So the columns which are there is the name of the institution, the board or university, the year in which you passed, your marks percentage and division, then your medium of instruction, that is English or Hindi or local language, where you are boarder or a day scholar, and in the last column any outstanding achievement. So if you have any outstanding achievement in your academic life, for example you are a subject topper or a district topper, you can mention in the last column. Okay, now in the next paragraph, the para 8, there is a requirement to fill your age in years and months, your height in meters and your weight in kg. Now this is such a simple thing to fill, but surprising, I used to find at times people used to fill it wrong. Now if they have asked you to fill your height in meters, you should not fill it in feet and inches, isn't it? It doesn't show you in a very good light. So read that column carefully and fill the way they are asking you. So the height is to be in meters, so it has to be 1.73 or 1.75, whatever. Then your weight has to be in kg. So see what is required to be filled and fill it correctly. Then your present occupation and your monthly salary. So give it. If you are working, you give it accordingly. If you are not working, you can say nil or a student or whatever. The next column, para 10, is about your NCC training. So if you have taken NCC training, whatever is required to be filled, please fill that. That is your total training duration. What wing, that is the Army, Air Force or Navy, your division and your certificate which you have obtained. Okay, now para 11 is very important. This column, if you see, is about your participation in games and sports. So any games and sports wherein you have participated, whether in your school days or in your college days or even at your local level, say district level, please fill that. In defense forces, if you have been a sports person, it comes very handy in the SSB. So these columns of the sports has got what is sport, then period of duration of participation, and then like in which year you participated. The next column is, did you represent any school, college, university or other. So if you have been part of a school team or college team or whatever, mention that. Now candidates, at times people get confused between this, and they do not fill sports in which they were not part of the school or college team. So that is a wrong understanding. If you have participated, say from a house team, or if you have just played but not been part of a team, you still fill that. But the column, what it means, that if you are at a higher level, at the level of a school, college or whatever, mention that. Otherwise, if you have played at a house level or a lower level, you can mention that also in the column. And of course, the last column is your outstanding achievement. So if you have won any important tournament or whatever you want to write, you are a district champion or state champion, please mention that. And before I proceed, I was telling you earlier also, do a lot of research on the sport which you mentioned. You should know the rules of the game or any other thing which is important, relevant to the game. For example, if you have mentioned volleyball, the query may be what is the height of the volleyball net from the ground or how many players play. Okay, so these things please prepare, and you should be aware of any question in that subject. Okay, next column 11B is regarding your hobbies and interests. So write whatever hobbies and interests which you have. Now in hobbies and interests, I normally like to say that if you have an active hobby, that is much more preferable. For example, what I mean by active hobby, for example, someone says listening to music. That's a very passive hobby. It doesn't take much effort. But suppose you write singing or playing an instrument, that's an active hobby. That is what I mean by active hobby. So if you have a hobby which takes more effort, it is much more preferable. But again, let me caution you, don't write anything which is wrong. If you have not done a thing, if a thing is not your actual hobby, don't mention it, because that will go against if you are queried, and quite likely that you will be caught on that. Okay, the next column is participation in extracurricular activities. So in your school and colleges, you may have participated in debating, or in declamation, or in dramatics, or in singing, whatever you have participated. Please fill that, because people who have participated in these things, we as interviewing officer think that he is a candidate who has got a all-round personality. So do not hesitate. Mention whatever you have participated in school or college or whatever, even at your community level. If you have participated in a Swachhta Abhiyan, please mention that. Okay. Then the next column again is very important, 11 delta. This is regarding the position of responsibility held in your life. So in your school, don't think that something is less important. Even if you are a class monitor or a house vice captain, please mention that, because it shows to us that you were given a important responsibility in your life. So he may ask you about how did you handle that responsibility. So small responsibility to big responsibility. If you are a school captain, very good. But if you are just a house captain or a house vice captain or a sports captain of a team, do mention that. Now the next column is about your type of commission which you have applied, that you write whatever you have applied for, your choice of service, then number of chances which you have availed earlier. So if you have come for the third time, you will write in this 2. If you are going for the first time, then you can put a dash. So and then there are the details of that earlier attempts which you have gone to SSB. So if you have earlier gone for 2 times, then you can see in the slide that it asks you serial number, type of entry that you have gone for, SSB number in place, like which SSB you went, 11 SSB or 19 SSB, the date you went, and your chest number and batch number. So these details has to be filled by the repeater candidates only. So I have given you a broad idea about how to fill the PIQ, and to summarize the issues which I have talked about, and to also give you some tips that PIQ is very important. The interviewing officer and the psychologist will get a copy. He will read the PIQ in detail. The interviewing officer is likely to ask a lot of questions based on the PIQ. So ensure that you fill all the columns correctly. Fill it in deliberate manner. Don't have too many cuttings. It again doesn't show you in a good light. Then, as I said, prepare thoroughly about the various issues that you write in the PIQ, about the games and sports, about your hobbies, about the job if you are working, what are you liking about the job, anything which you don't like. So all these you should be prepared. If you are a NCC cadet, then know about the NCC. Then your extracurricular activities, and then if you have been to SSB earlier, like you are a repeated candidates, be prepared that you will be asked about your experiences in the earlier SSB. He may ask you as to why you feel that you did not clear the SSB. So go prepared to answer that question. And of course, as I said, write legibly. Your handwriting should be good, and don't have too many cuttings and all. And remember what you have written, so that you don't contradict yourself in the interview. So that's all about the PIQ. I am very sure that you have understood how to fill the PIQ. आप सभी को PIQ की इम्पोर्टेंस और PIQ कैसे भरना है, इसके बारे में एक बड़ा अच्छा सा आइडिया हो गया होगा. और फिर भी अगर कोई आपको क्वेरी है, तो आप इस वीडियो में दिए गए जो नंबर से आप क्वेरी पूछ सकते हैं और उसको हम जवाब देंगे. तो कैंडिडेट्स, आप सब लोग त्रिशूल डिफेंस एकेडमी का ऐप को डाउनलोड करें, और उसमें जो भी ऑप्शंस हमारे पास हैं ऑनलाइन कोर्सेज के, ऑफलाइन कोर्सेज के, वो आप देख सकते हैं. हमारे पास बहुत सारे ऑप्शंस हैं. सिर्फ पर्सनल इंटरव्यू और मॉक इंटरव्यू का ऑप्शन है, या जो मैं कर रहा हूँ अभी आपका स्क्रीनिंग और इंटरव्यू का ऑप्शन है, या पूरे SSB का ऑप्शन है. ये सब उसमें आपके पास है, उसको आप सेलेक्ट कर सकते हैं. और अगर आप चाहें तो ऑफलाइन कोर्सेज भी कर सकते हैं. ये जो अभी मैंने PIQ आपको बताया, ये हमारे ऐप में भी आपको अवेलेबल है, और जो हमारा टेलीग्राम चैनल है उसमें आप ज्वाइन करें, उसमें से भी आप इसको डाउनलोड कर सकते हैं. सो कैंडिडेट्स, प्रिपेयर वेल, and I am very sure that I will see you in defense uniform very soon. All the best to you. Take care. Jai Hind.
अब डिफेंस एग्जाम क्रैक करना हुआ और भी आसान। त्रिशूल डिफेंस एकेडमी लेकर आए हैं बिल्कुल ही एडवांस लर्निंग ऐप। तो आज ही ज्वाइन करें और स्टार्ट करें अपनी ऑनलाइन क्लासेस।